We want to now dissect matters artificial intelligence, and I'm now joined by Liliosa Muturi, who is the impact manager at Summer Source, Kenya. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me, Abby.
And just to set the tone for our discussion, well, of course, in the recent hard economic times, businesses are continually striving to cut costs, increase profits, and enhance customer experience. However, experts note that the emerging and disruptive technologies like machine learning offer a window of opportunity. Machine learning and application of artificial intelligence has been reported to help companies improve insight, mitigate risks, and enhance performance, all of which are crucial to business success. Well, in the above context, let me bring in back Liliosa, and let's open up this discussion. We are seeing the president just reorganize the ICT sector. There are a couple of mergers that he did introduce. And I just want to get your quick reactions to this before we get deeper into our subject of discussion.
All right, that didn't come as a surprise to me, actually, because for the past 5 years, we've seen the ICT ministry focusing on youth affairs. And so you'll notice that the ICT ministry and youth have quite a lot of overlap. So I think it's a lot of forward thinking by the president. There's going to be about 11 million youth entering the job market over this decade, and a lot of them will be coming from Africa. And if you think about what the future of work is, it's largely digital. Merging ICT and youth affairs together just prepares us for the future of work.
Interesting. And let's take a deep dive into artificial intelligence. It's the new norm, especially when you look at tech organizations. There's a lot of focus on this. Just break it down for us, for our ordinary viewers, just trying to understand what artificial intelligence is all about.
All right, so artificial intelligence is a broad computer science where you've got practices like machine learning, where human beings are training data to machines. If you think about it, you can look at a toddler, someone who's between the age of 1 and 4, and how you train that toddler to become more intelligent. So it's from the basics of 1, 2, 3s to ABCs and what those mean for the toddler. They start interpreting those to know that B stands for boy, and it also stands for Betty, and it stands for butter, and butter becoming bitter. And what does that mean for Betty if the butter is bitter? So it's a lot of intelligence that is going on based on the variables of the data that the machine is trained on.
Interesting. And so look at how do we now use this, especially for businesses, to remain competitive and implement interesting innovations?
For businesses, we've had a lot of businesses reporting that artificial intelligence has actually helped them become more efficient, reduce cost, and also reduce risks. If you think about the Internet of Things and how data is moving from different places, from the person to a device to the next person, there's a lot that can be done in terms of efficiencies for both businesses and consumers. And I can say a use case where your alarm wakes you up in the morning, and then the alarm sends a trigger to your coffee machine to brew coffee for you, and then your your phone sort of like measures how long is it going to take Abby to take this coffee before I can order an Uber for him based on his Google Calendar, which says he's going to be in this particular place at a particular time. And then once you're in that Uber, there's all this data that is being collected for all the cars that are on the road, which now tells you what your ETA is. And then if you've got Siri, she or he will ask you, hey, Abby, do you want me to SMS your boss and let her know that you're going to be late? And then your boss can make decisions based out of that. So it's a whole string of data that is being collected, and lots of companies are using this. You were talking about Carrefour right now and how they've opened a center in Uganda. And how can they use machine learning to actually forecast, to do demand forecasting, to understand anomalies in the supplies and the things that they need to stock. And consumer insights can use that same data as well to understand populations, what their user behavior is, how many people are using mobile devices, what is internet penetration like in Kenya. So there are a lot of uses for machine learning right now, and more businesses should be adopting it.
And of course, very interesting benefits that come along with this. But how ready is the market for this, especially looking at the way Kenya is designed? We do have a lot of concentration in the capital city. Of course, other counties are also coming up, catching up, especially when it comes to ICT adoption. But really, who are the biggest users of these new technologies? And of course, how will this change the outlook for the ICT sector at large?
Kenya is very well placed to be an ICT hub. We call ourselves the Silicon Savannah for good reason. We have very reliable broadband connection. And if you think about connectivity, it's gone to the most remote parts of Kenya, and they are also using it. Like if you think of a place like northern Uganda, let's just get out of Kenya a little bit, northern Uganda, where there's a lot of farmers, they're now able to connect a farmer to a buyer because of use of machine learning. So many people can actually leverage this, take advantage of the time saving that comes with machine learning and automation.
And as we wrap this up, looking at the prospects, especially for growth, how big will artificial intelligence define the business environment now that we're seeing ICT is supposed to really enhance an organization's competitiveness?
There are going to be lots of spillover effects and market evolutions based off of IT. The market size predictions for adoption of AI technologies is slated to reach $200 billion by the end of this decade. And so what that means for companies is that there's going to be a lot of economic development, a lot of job creation, and this will affect every single sector. So it's time everybody adopted it.
Of course, there are some risks, Liliola.
Yes, as with any adoption of new technology, there are risks involved, and this could be from data privacy breaches, and in extreme cases, maybe accidents or political manipulation. But big tech companies like Samasource are actually working very closely with their clients to ensure that they comply to global data protection regulations. And they have a large team of very competent youth that are working on this ground truth data and are aiming for 99.9% quality output, because this type of work is actually a matter of life and death. So when you do this, you reduce a lot of risk. All
right. And just your parting shot right now, of course, what do you see in your crystal ball for 2020 around IT and the mega opportunities it portends?
I see a lot of youth taking advantage of IT. And with this merger between the ICT Ministry and Youth Affairs, what I'm seeing is people in the most remote parts of Kenya actually going online to do work. We're stepping out of this phase where it's all about white-collar jobs. Yeah, there's a lot of work online that people can actually take advantage of.
All right. Thank you so much, Liliola, for your time and for your insights. We look forward to seeing a great year for the ICT space.
I look forward to it.